Hey everyone, another day, another handheld, with this one being the Anbernic RG35XX H. The RG35XX H is essentially the horizontal version of the RG35XX Plus before it, and feels like a Persona-like fuse between Anbernic's previous RG350 and RG351P handhelds. It is a bit of a shame that Anbernic didn't release this alongside the Plus, as they've likely hurt their own sales here, but there we go. Spec-wise, the RG35XX H is very much a horizontal flavour of the Plus before it. We've got the all-winner H700, which should give us compatibility up to, but far from all, of the Dreamcast catalogue. 1GB of RAM, a 3.5-inch LCD display at a 4:3 ratio, and a 3300 mAh battery. All this comes in at a weight of around 180 grams. In terms of firmware options, we've not got a bad selection. We've got the not bad, not great stock firmware, as well as a few community firmware options. The fantastic MIUI is compatible, alongside Mu OS, which both Batasira and Garlic OS working on versions at the moment too. Straight out of the box, the RG35XX H feels like a typical Anbernic in the best of ways. If you've had or looked at one of Anbernic's candy bar handhelds in the past, you'll know exactly what you're working with. Underneath, we've got stereo speakers, dual micro SD card slots, and on top we've got some relatively small shoulder buttons, a headphone jack, two USB-C and a micro HDMI port, alongside a function button. On the left side we've got the volume buttons, and on the right we've got recessed power and reset buttons. On the back there's a couple of hand grips, but all in all it's a compact but pretty well featured package with minimal complaints all round. In terms of controls, the RG35XX H offers pretty decent controls all round, with only an unusually sensitive D-pad differentiating it from the typically great Anbernic control scheme. The glossy face buttons are a great size, are very responsive and have a nice bounce to them. The shoulder buttons aren't stacked and a little on the small size, but are certainly workable in terms of systems that work best on the handheld. The D-pad isn't terrible, but has a particularly sensitive centre circle, which essentially means that you'll need to get used to using the edges of the D-pad for precision input. It's a little bit of a shame here, as the feel is otherwise great, but that centre pivot is just a little bit too sensitive. The joysticks are your standard Switch-style non-Hall sticks, and thankfully the compact nature of the shell design makes for relatively comfortable usage, even when you're using the shoulder buttons. With that said, I certainly wouldn't want to play modern-day shooters on it, but for retro gamings, the controls are mostly fine. Speaking of mostly fine, the stock firmware is mostly fine, but it does feel a little old-fashioned and clunky when compared to more modern, particularly community-based firmware options. The RetroArch section of the stock is certainly the way to go, and is mostly set up sensibly, though there is the odd issue in games like Ryu appearing like a ghost in Street Fighter 3. Fortunately, custom firmware options are available. MIUI and MIUI are great and familiar options that are worth checking out, with both Emulation Station and Garlic OS to come. I'll cut some gameplay footage now, all caught via the RetroArch section within the stock firmware, and then I'll summarise back up at the end. So, all in all, the RG35XX H isn't a bad little handheld. It's very pocketable, offers quite a lot of power for its size, and has decent speakers and screen. The stock firmware does feel a tad archaic, and it hovers around the price range where it competes with the Retroid Pocket 2S if you're looking for an Android option, but with all that aside, the RG35XX H is a great entry option for retro gaming handhelds. That's it for now though. Thanks so much for watching.